It's been a dream ever since I was little to hug a baby panda.
I mean, my mom was scared when I went there. She was like, "Child, what are you doing?"
And then when I went to China, people, if I said I was from America, people were impressed, which I was not used to.
People were telling me, oh, when you go to China, you're the foreigner, you're blonde, you know, they'll all look at you, especially the girls. But I was impressed how developed it already is.
I've certainly heard the term that, this next century will be China's century.
Most Americans, at least, if you ask them, what's the greatest country in the world, they'd probably say America. And if America is completely in debt to China, then you could say that China's already.
The US certainly, in terms of its soft power, is highly influential in ways that China can never be.
In this unipolar world, America's place is so far uncomparable.
I definitely see China as serious opponent to the United States.
The Chinese culture is not that it wants to dominate.
I believe that these two powers are going to coexist together instead of having one dominate another, because both are so mutually dependent on each other.
I think that the kind of Cold War Mark II model is a false analogy.
No, nobody's going to dominate each other. And I feel that a lot of these talks about China ruling the world are just by people who doesn't know anything and people who want to sell books.
I think Chinese culture and Western culture, to some sense, they can complete each other.
They certainly have a great deal to teach each other.
English as a language itself is so widespread and influential that certainly China will never be able to surpass.
I think English, maybe 200 years ago, is not an official language either. French, or maybe 500 years ago, is Latin.
And in American schools, especially in California, they're teaching Chinese more and more.
A lot of people are learning how to speak Chinese. It's really popular.
But I think it's not going to be as big of a trend as the English language.
But I think more than being a question of language, it's a question of how long this country has been fully open to the world.
A lot of people in English-speaking countries especially are dependent on Western media on their perceptions of China, right? If you can't speak the language, I think it's not really fair to judge.
Or the Western media has just been using the same style to report on Chinese issues as before.
You really need to understand the culture to be able to fully understand what's going on within the politics.
Maybe there will be more correspondence in China, so they would know better what is it like on the ground.
We're already in the international society, and we want to do so.
Pudong now has Facebook, which may not seem like a big deal, but is a big deal for China.
Ideology is not important as long as there's money to be made. There's good relations to be built.
If you look at other aspects, if you say McDonald's or the American movies,
it is pretty westernized already.
Well, capitalism is westernized, but politically, definitely not.
It would be a shame if it really became westernized, because I think a lot of culture would get lost.
The aspects of Western culture that it takes in are distinctly Chinese.
I think democratic model with all its burdens and all its problems is more beneficial because it ensures some sort of accountability. Everyone has to feel empowered to be an author of the political sphere.
I think a lot of the positions right now are already decided, and it's just this whole facade to show that we have a big election and it's people's choice.
It would be beneficial for non-European states to try to question things and not to treat things as if they are God-given.
I don't believe the communist regime will ever loosen their power.
I think China wouldn't actually be able to adopt a democracy because it's so big. I don't think without a centralized government, I don't think it would be as strong as it is now.
As Deng said, it doesn't matter whether the cat is black or white, as long as the cat catches the mouse, right?
Maybe that's the hope of Xi Jinping, that Xi Jinping is going to be the new Deng Xiaoping and revolutionize the way China's perceived and revolutionize China's image as a more transparent nation.
Inequality,
The distribution of wealth,
ethnic problem in Xinjiang and Tibet,
demographic problem,
Human rights.
Human rights.
Human rights.
The economic growth isn't all glorious.
Everything's moving so quick. Everything seems to get destroyed so quick, but then get built up so quickly. I think that's dangerous.
It's a problem of sustainability in the end. You know, is the way we live right now sustainable? No, it's not. Can we change it? Well, we could, but we won't.
The political system that China has now restricts its potential to become the superpower that it's always wanted to be.
There are a great deal of reforms that need to be done.
But change must happen, as I said. Many of the problems, they cannot be solved according to what the old model that we follow.
I think Xi Jinping is highly aware that it needs to move in that direction.
I believe if one day China is going to see a political change, I think it will come from the people.
People may have different impressions of China, but also find the country hard to approach. Learn more about China in our publication Bull R Magazine. I'm Brian, Editor-in-Chief, St. Andrews.